35192 if you want to send me a text for anything. AlanCoxShow.com to watch live or hit us up otherwise. The brand new Poundcake podcast is up there for you. Are you at 100 episodes yet on this thing?
No, I'm in the 60s.
In the 60s. All right. And it's called Trial by Media?
Yeah, it covers like the Bill Cosby trial, Chris Brown.
Did you watch that Cosby documentary? Do you have Showtime?
No, I think it's on HBO.
It's on Showtime, yeah.
Okay.
You should watch it.
Because it didn't just start like
I think it dropped
1st?
last week. Yeah, it went through the film festival circuit, and then they put it on Showtime.
But I talk about it in the show, or on my episode, at the fact that these people probably didn't do anything for the fact that they could probably make a documentary about it later on. Like, this was the perfect... They don't care about the victims.
Wait, who? Kamau Bell?
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy that made the documentary. W. Kamau Bell. He's been on the show a couple of times.
Well, I'm talking about the people that are in Cosby's camp. Like, they rather than getting justice for the victims and, wanting to help them heal, Hollywood's not looking to help these people heal. They want to exploit their pain. Like, these people are like, ooh, I was watching
And then you watch it with a bucket of popcorn?
Entertaining is very different than, like...
You mean the pro-Cosby people?
No. I'm talking about the people that are in this documentary. Same thing with Surviving R. Kelly.
Are you being a sex defender in this?
No, I'm not. I'm saying if you really want to give these people peace and heal, then stop exploiting their pain. And they're not doing that.
How are they exploiting their pain? By talking in the documentary?
Yes, they're like, all these people knew, and they did nothing about it. And one by one, he just kept giving them pills and giving them drinks.
Yeah, but that's not saying that those people sat by. Those are people who might have told everyone. I mean, it was a very, very poorly kept secret over decades.
I was going to say for 40 years?
It was, yes. And Cosby used to, and there's clips of it in this documentary where Cosby, and this is what they allude to, they're like, he was on television doing talk show panel appearances talking about Spanish Fly and ha ha ha. If you listen to some of the old Cosby material. Because as a kid, I loved Bill Cosby. I had all the George Carlin albums that my parents had given me. And then I bought when I joined Columbia House Records and Tapes, I bought all the Cosby cassettes. So as a kid, I loved Cosby. Got a little older, and I think my comedic taste got a little more sophisticated. And I was like, yeah, I'm not into Cosby anymore.
I loved Cosby too. And but what you have to understand is these people, they're not being exploited as much as...
exploited.
They want to tell their story.
No, they're being exploited. They don't. The studio doesn't
care. If somebody came to you and said, we're doing a documentary and we'd like you to talk about what you know and your experience, there'd be no reason for you not to do that.
I'm not saying the victims, I believe they probably want to tell their story. But if their story is not salacious enough, if it's not entertaining enough, if it's not incriminating enough, they're not going to put it in there. They don't care about these people getting peace.
But the guy's already gone through the criminal justice system. I mean, it would be different if they were making this documentary during his trial or, whatever.
But it's the same thing with the Surviving R. Kelly. These people have been sounding the alarm for years. And far as I know, I don't hear about any studio reaching out to get these people counseling or, pay for their legal troubles if they want to go after R. Kelly.
That's because none of these organizations want to be. That's kind of an admission of culpability. If you go, hey, we'd like to pay for your counseling.
Yeah, that's a business decision. Like that's not. They're not. They're trying to tell a story. They're not.
But you just
trying
to. It's business.
Right. Of course, it's business, but it doesn't mean they're exploiting them. You can have ethical business.
I feel these docuseries.
You love them. You have
having something you
have watched. We've joked about it because it's not a joke that you have watched Surviving R. Kelly on multiple occasions. So you're the last person who should be trying to plant their flag in the anti-exploitation.
It's already out there.
So is this. So is the Cosby thing. It's already out there.
I'm saying if
there's no new information coming to light that I can ascertain.
I did not create the documentary. I didn't create the docuseries. So
you didn't create them for making it.
But you didn't create Surviving R. Kelly either.
I'm mad at them for making it.
You're not mad at them for making Surviving R. Kelly. You love Surviving R. Kelly. You will go to the mat defending Michael Jackson.
I have trouble with Finding Neverland too.
Did you watch that one?
Finding Neverland?
Yeah.
Or Leaving Neverland? Yeah,
which one was the Johnny Depp one and which one was the...
Finding Neverland was Johnny Depp.
Okay, yeah.
I thought they were both really hard to watch.
The China one's pretty cute, actually.
Why did Johnny Depp touch all them kids?
I didn't know he had a monkey.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they need to focus on the healing, the peace, and the moving on.
But
rather
maybe that
than
is part of their process.
sensationalism.
But that's
And
also
sharing
gonna
it.
also going to happen irrespective of whether or not there's a documentary about Bill Cosby.
with these stupid trailers. I don't want you to edit this. Everybody knew about Cosby, okay? I got a story to tell you. I'm about to get him. I'm about to spill all the tea. He was raping bitches since 92.
But everybody knows that. These are just people putting in finer details.
I don't like it.
The broad strokes have already been they've already been litigated. They found him guilty.
They're indulging in it. And
He
I don't
got
like
more
that.
justice. There was more justice done with Bill Cosby than there was with O.J. Simpson or Michael Jackson.
I'm very confused.
I am
Why?
too.
Because again,
there's
like
inconsistencies
these so
here.
much. You like these documentaries so much, but you don't want them to make them.
Because it's so bad the way they frame them. Like the way
They frame what?
the way they make it seem like
the rapist did bad things?
no, they did do bad things, but they make it seem like gossipy, like spilling the tea rather than it being like NPR. NPR would just tell you the facts. That's it. These people are inserting a narrative.
It's their narrative.
It's not always the victims that are speaking out on these documentaries. It's people who help facilitate it.
What if they asked all? I bet Kamau Bell asked a lot of people involved, and you're assuming that the victims weren't asked to participate in the documentary.
Also, you have a very hard opinion on this when you haven't even watched it yet.
I have not watched.
You've only watched the trailer,
and I
That's
was
like-
watching a review.
Yeah, I've
and
watched
watching
some
a
of
review,
it,
and so you're getting somebody else's. I mean, talk about people having influence. You're mad. You hear another person's review and you go, "I agree with that," without having seen it for yourself.
You're mad that it exists.
Her review is like, "Girl, I watched this." The Cosby.
Whose review?
It's just some YouTuber.
I'm telling you, the guy you know and work with. I'm telling you to watch it.
Okay, I will watch it, but I need to watch it from a lens of being.
He's got to get his advice from the YouTubers first.
Yeah, he wants to know what his opinion's going to be.
Well,
No.
who's doing the raping?
Obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire. I just don't like the way they're
A
going.
lot of friction.
I don't like the way they're going about it.
But again, you
And-
can't say you don't like it when you haven't seen it yet.
Okay, well, I'll watch it.
Okay, let's take that out of it. Let's remove that, okay? Let's remove the inconsistencies on watching or not watching the Bill Cosby documentary. The fact remains is that you get a big bucket of popcorn. Your comfort
Melt down that butter.
Your comfort viewing is the R. Kelly documentary.
It's just something I know that I go back to.
Right, and you don't think that's so, like, Mary turns on The Office. I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother.
There you
Alan
go.
watches
The Office
Simpsons
or
with
Seinfeld. Yeah, that's right.
And you're, like, just turn my brain off, relaxed television is R. Kelly and the victims that are telling their stories.
Well, who's doing the raping?
You
know
don't see
how
that you could be a little bit weird here?
You know how you told us that when you one of your stories that when you were younger, you paused the VHS tape or the DVD of Unfaithful to the heavy duty sex scene.
At the same spot.
Right, at the same spot. So when you put it in, it was where you wanted it to be. Like analogous to anybody's porn tape, that was his as a young man. That's what you're doing with R. Kelly is you probably just have it paused. So when you turn on your television or your laptop, it's ready to go.
It's in my queue.
Right, it's in your queue. You haven't removed it from your queue.
I don't know how to do that. I didn't know you could.
But when you watch, I don't know how to do that. So everything you've ever watched is still in your queue?
Yeah. I only watched like 6 shows.
Mr. Tech Savvy.
Yeah, and if
I don't know how to get it out of my queue.
He just wants to keep rewatching the same trauma again and again.
Right.
I just feel it could be because with this whole Chris Brown thing and the Trey Songz thing, these people can't wait to do a documentary. It's coming. I'm talking about from a studio perspective. These studios are like, oh, this is going to get great ratings.
But doesn't a documentary though give voice to people who otherwise wouldn't have it?
Yes, it totally would.
And by the way, nobody's getting rich off documentaries.
I don't know about
They
that.
cost nothing to make, so studios love them. They slap them on Showtime. They're not putting them in theaters and hoping to sell popcorn for them.
When surviving-
Although if they did, you would be there front and center buying a jumbo popcorn.
Well, they sell them to
put
networks.
They put them. They don't. They put them on streamers.
Lifetime.
Showtime?
No.
But even
Surviving R. Kelly was on Lifetime.
But even what they pay on Lifetime is
Yeah, they don't
a lot of money.
They're just looking to fill up hours. They're not worried about ratings. Lifetime, I'm sure, probably is.
a little bit,
But
not,
Showtime's not. These are subscription services. They don't even have to concern themselves with
They
ratings.
just want you on the app for whatever reason. If that's what's going to get people on the app, then they're happy with it. But it's also, I can't think of. There's very few documentaries that make an enormous amount of money.
Okay.
No. And they have to be in theaters to make money. They're not making money putting them on Showtime.
I just...
Michael Moore movies would make money. Hoop Dreams. Remember Hoop Dreams? That made money. You know.
Can it be exploitation if you're volunteering?
Well, I think he's talking about people who are exploiting the victims. He considers somebody sitting down to talk in a documentary exploiting another person's pain. But what he's doing is the opposite.
That person is volunteering to answer those questions.
Right.
So is that exploitation?
No, he's not talking about exploiting them. He's talking about the fact that those people talking to the documentarian are exploiting the victim's pain by talking about it. But what he's doing is the opposite. He's co-opting strangers' pain. In saying these people shouldn't do this because this person. Of course, it's confusing because he's not consistent.
Well, I will give you an example. When they did Surviving R. Kelly, Drea, R. Kelly's wife, spoke out. Now, I have no problem with her speaking out and sharing her story, but what she said after Surviving R. Kelly was as big as it was and it got all the fame, she said the network left them high and dry. These people are getting death threats. These people are, their kids are getting death threats. The studio or the network, whoever produced it, the director, whoever it was, did not follow up with them, didn't really care about their pain.
Then she shouldn't have been in the documentary.
Okay.
She's a grown woman who, by the way, if she's been married to R. Kelly, you want to talk about decades of a poorly kept secret, at least in the greater Chicagoland area and probably Atlanta. They've been getting death threats for decades.
But I'm just saying,
because everybody assumed his wife was complicit.
If you care, if there was this huge uprising from this documentary that was supposed to be so traumatic, and he's a monster. Treat him with a little bit of care.
But they
These
don't
are victims.
But
here.
what can they do? They
can't offer to pay for their security for a little bit.
But
offer them
what security?
This whole idea that you have around security is also baffling.
Why?
Because it's
not a panacea. It doesn't mean that if you have a bodyguard, no one can throw crap at you or say, what is a bodyguard going to do when I guarantee you 95% of the death threats are coming on social media, email, letters to the house? What is a bodyguard going to do? People aren't looking to shoot R. Kelly's wife.
And usually it's not.
Or kidnap his children.
Like the death threats that you're getting is usually, they're very empty threats.
Okay.
And so to say like you need this security, like
it just makes it seem like
it is not how you want people to react. It's not how you want people to behave. But if you're going to be in a documentary about a very popular singer like R. Kelly, there is going to be people that don't agree with what you say. So you have to understand that going in, like with the project that I was working on about my time in the Philippines, I know that there would be a lot of backlash from that because I am talking about a very, very rich church and talking about things that I didn't like about them. And so there would be a smear campaign against me, trying to make me look bad. I expect that.
Okay.
And if you don't expect that going into a project like that, I don't understand. Like, you're being naive.
Oh, okay. Well, I just think that from the studio standpoint, it just seems like shut up, make the money. Like here.
Yeah, nobody's getting rich off these.
You want to share your pain? Go ahead. But I feel like a lot of people like me, and I hate because it's out there, so I watch it, but I'm like, ooh, people don't really care that they're hurting. They're laughing at their pain.
Tell you what, here's what you should do: is you should donate to the R. Kelly Victims Fund. You should quite literally put your money where your mouth is. I'm gonna do that. He's the exploiter. I don't want to submit any money or donate any money. I want to watch the documentary over and over and over.
Like, I don't bother nobody. They put it on my TV.
You're using their stories as entertainment on your podcast.
I'll tell you what documentary I am interested in, and I think that it's out.
It comes out
Jackass Forever. Friday. But you've seen it.
I saw it last night. I went to a preview screening, And
Now, did you feel exploited? Was Johnny Knoxville exploited?
I feel like I might have a little bit of PTSD. These poor guys. I mean, the way
They're
they
old.
put their
They're fifth. Johnny Knoxville's like my age.
yeah, Johnny Knoxville's about 50,
They're not 22-year-old idiots anymore.
but
like,
they are still idiots. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is you don't understand. Like people, it's just because you're 40 or 50 doesn't mean you all of a sudden got smart. You're still an idiot. And
Is Bam Margarine in it?
no, Bam's not in it. So
that's
kicked
what
him
sparked his whole Instagram decline when he was like, they didn't ask me to be back, and he had like that whole breakdown.
They couldn't get him insured, probably. These
Right.
movies are notoriously hard to insure in general.
So you have Steve-O, you have Johnny Knoxville, you have Wee Man, Chris Pontius,
Preston
Lacey. Preston Lacey goes above and beyond. Like I feel like this was his best showing.
But they've also
Aaron McGahee,
they've also
Dave
got
England.
some new blood in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then you got Poopies.
Poopies.
What's the other?
Poopies?
Zach, yeah, Poopies.
Okay.
Zach something.
Sean Poopies McInerney.
Yeah.
All right.
Efron?
These are the guys that are going to carry the torch after Knoxville.
Yeah, and they're pretty
ends
funny.
up with his umpteenth
and the
concussion.
thing is, it's not like you have to be all that crazy clever to be in these. You just have to think of something dumb and be willing to get hurt. There's Jasper, there's this dude Eric, and then a girl named Rachel. And
A girl.
yeah,
She the first girl in the Jackass crew?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's pretty funny because there's one bit where they're doing something and something falls on her boob, and it's not something you really want on your boob. And Chris Pontius is like, well, before I grab that, I have to get consent. And she's like, you have consent! She's like freaking out. But
Was it Weinstein's hand?
Nah.
Oh.
It was a very funny movie, though. I love seeing those in the theater with a bunch of people.
Oh,
and
it's
just
the
laughing
best.
my ass off.
It's the best.
And just listen to people freak out because there's so many cringy moments and so many penises.
MGK's in it, yeah?
Yeah.
There's like celebrities in it.
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah.
there's penises in it?
Is Eric Andre in it?
Eric Andre is in it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of penises in it.
That's like their
but they're
whole
not.
thing.
They're not penises
It's not
that
cute
are.
penises.
No, they're like these,
Attached to bottle rockets and stuff.
these penises have been through it. Like they do some stuff. Like there's one point you're looking at this guy's thing and you're like, how? I didn't know you could do that to the human body, and it is, but it's so.
You enjoy
Goddamn
it
funny.
as much now as you did when they first came out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think honestly,
I
because
feel like
of the
I
way,
wouldn't. I don't know, I'm worried.
Because we've gotten older with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because they do everything with an audience, so they're all laughing their asses off too.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just so fun, and especially with the way things have been for the past couple of years with the pandemic,
It's
to
just
just go and have like
stupid.
mindless. There's no
Thinking.
Redeeming value
they're not
whatsoever.
trying to make any sort of statement other than like, this is my friend, and I'm going to hurt him,
Right.
And we're gonna laugh about it.
I remember.
Or scare the hell out of them. They do some stuff that they're just like is traumatic.
Yeah, I never got putting the D in PTSD, as it were.
Yeah.
I never got into the TV show, but I love the movies.
I liked the movies a lot, except I can't do throw up stuff, man. You guys know how I am about puke, and so I feel like one of them was always throwing up.
Yeah, the
And it
puke
would-
helmet
It
and
would
the-
make
yeah.
me gag over and over again, so I kind of got away from them as they got more gross. So when they started doing more poop, I feel like the third one was a lot of poop and a lot of vomit, and I was like, this is just so
This
not
one has
my.
a little bit of poop, a little bit of vomit,
I like them getting hurt. That's funny.
but a lot of them getting hurt because here's in the
What if
old
they
ones,
hurt the poop out of them?
Then that's okay. That's okay. It's like when they're
It's
like
funny you should
pooping for
mention
no
that.
reason.
There's in the older ones they do those slides down the hill, and it'd be into a lake. They got rid of the
in the
lake.
poop.
No, no, they just got rid of the lake.
Oh God.
So they're just going down these giant slides and just landing on dirt. And it's pretty funny.
The one that I love the most, I would say probably the most, was when they would call someone to their hotel room and they had the fake punching bag that would come
Yeah.
out
And
and
there's-
knock them out. Just because the element of surprise and
Yeah.
how mad everyone was, those ones, like the hidden camera stuff, was the stuff that I liked the most.
It's like a cartoon. I mean, the whole
They
thing.
do a lot of that, and there's like you can see like from the beginning of production to the end of production how on edge
Oh,
they
yeah.
all are.
Nobody trusts
And So
anybody.
they're just always like laughing and like, but anytime they're laughing, they're waiting for the next thing to
They're looking
happen.
around.
I laughed my ass off, and went with two of my buddies. Movie Squad went out, and we were dying.
The
It was
Burley
just-
Boys?
Yeah. Whew. It's good times.
All right, well, there you go. Bill has seen Jackass Forever, gives it 2 thumbs up.
2 crutches up.
Something. There you go. And it opens everywhere on this Friday.
This Friday, yeah.
Let me take a break. We're going to talk to Andy Leach in a little bit. He is over there at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to chop it up over this year's class of nominees, which they dropped this morning. If you want to text for anything here, 35192. I will have, speaking of movies, an advanced screening we're doing of the movie Death on the Nile on February the 9th. So if you want to see that, I'll hook you up after the break. And then 4:30 is going to be the next chance for you to grab $1,000 and go fund yourself.